Hey everybody, Nick here. I am here with another pose tutorial for you. One of the most common poses that we all come into is Ado Mukha Svanasana, or downward facing dog. And I think it's also probably, to be quite honest, my most self-conscious pose. I overanalyze every single time I'm in downward facing dog, so I thought I'd give you some tips to help kind of construct your downward facing dog in a way that's fun. So ideally, in downward facing dog, you try to prioritize a long spine over anything else. And so all of the things you do, you try to set yourself up for success there. So the first thing you'll start with is your hands. And so try to widen your fingertips as much as you can, about outer shoulder width distance apart, so that the inner palms line up with your shoulders and your index fingers essentially point forward. And then try to bring the weight to the inside of your palm as opposed to letting the weight collapse towards the outsides of your mat. And then try to spiral your biceps forward so the eyes of your elbows are shining forward and your elbows are essentially shining back. That's really a strong shape for your glenohumeral joint. And from here, you can lift your hips up and back. Now, one of the things that often happens is people will sickle their shoulder blades together because there's some sort of confusion about us trying to squeeze shoulder blades together. But here, you actually want to widen your shoulder blades and then try to wrap them around the sides of your rib cage. So literally from here, wrapping them around almost like you're scooping your outer armpits under. And then I encourage everybody to bend their knees here and try to snuggle their hip creases as far back as possible. And then from there, you can begin to straighten the legs. It doesn't matter if it feels better for your knees to be bent, but for your hamstrings or your calves, that might be nice. Or you can start to straighten your legs. And from here, try not to sink down into your shoulders. Have a little bit of a lift. You can look forward or down or at your navel, whatever feels most appropriate. And from here, then try to engage your core in and pull your thighs apart to activate your outer glutes. So it's literally trying to pull the thighs out to really start to squeeze the glutes. Now, a little known secret, my heels never touch the ground in downward facing dog, so don't ever worry about downward facing dog. I've been doing yoga for years and years and years, and they just don't, so it's no big deal. But again, try to think about almost like this upside down V. Some of the modifications here, bend the knees and push your hips back. That feels really nice often. And if your shoulders are particularly tight, you can take a wider stance with your hands. That might feel really nice, and bring your hands a little bit wider. Also, puppy pose, Shasana, is a really great option. If you start to get a little bit tired or downward facing dog just doesn't feel good today, you can bring your knees down to the ground and take a puppy pose instead. That's really nice. It creates this very almost identical shape. It's just a little bit less load for your arms. And so again, weights in the inner palm, biceps forward, shoulder blades apart and around the rib cage. Long spine, pull your ribs in, and then try to pull your thighs apart to activate your outer glutes to really have a nice, strong, and stable downward facing dog. Hope these were helpful tips.